31st July is approaching fast, and it is a time to take stock of your tax filing. And this year is special. You will end up paying fine if you miss the deadline. The amount of fine will depend when you actually file your tax return. So first of all, you need to determine whether you indeed has a filing tax obligation, and normally you will have a tax filing obligation if your income is exceeding the basic exemption limit of 2,50,000 rupees, and this limit is 3 lakh for the senior citizen and 5 lakh for the super senior citizen. Now once you have determined that you have a tax filing obligation, then how you go about that? You need to compile all your financial details. Now once you have compiled all the financial details, then you are good to go to file your tax return. Then you need to determine now what form would be applicable. From the home page, now you go to the login page, press login here, and once you press that, you will get the user ID, and here you have to mention your PAN number. Once you fill the PAN number, then you have to fill the password, and after filling the password, then you need to give the CAPTCHA code. So ITR e-file can be filed online straight away on the income tax website itself, and now for that, again you have to go back to the income tax return. You have to mention the PAN, which is already there. You have to now mention the assessment year, which will be 2018 and 19. Then you select the requisite form, which is ITR-1, and once you have done, then you mention the submission mode, whether you want to file the return through the XML utility or you want to prepare and submit the online. Now since this is a simpler form, so we will use the prepare and submit online option. So once you do that, the screen will look like this, and now you have to mention here before proceeding how you will e-verify your return, through the Aadhaar OTP or through the EVC. We are selecting Aadhaar OTP. After that, then you press the continue. Now once we have selected the Aadhaar OTP, now we are in the on the instruction page. So just have a very quick look at the instruction page and then go to the part A, general information. Now the beauty of the beauty of filing ITR return online option is the things will come into this form pre-filled. So your PAN details, your address, or your other details which are common, those will be auto-filled in this form. So you have to give actually the minimum details in that. So once we go in part A of the screen, you have already the name, the address, date of birth, mobile number. You have to mention the Aadhaar number. After filling the details, just save draft. By any chance you get disconnected, so whatever information you have filled so far, so that will not have to be filled it again. Now after that, now we go to the next tab, which is the income details. Now after filling part A, general information, we now move to the income details. If you have filled ITR form 1 last year, you will see little change. You have to give more details in case of your salary income as well as your income from house property. Now starting with the salary, but no worries, these details are available in form 16 and 12BA. Just keep that handy. Now the first section is income from salary. Now here you will see you have to give in the first row the salary income detail, then allowances which are not exempt, which are taxable, then value of perquisite, profit in lieu of salary, etc., etc. So once you have filled that detail, then you move to the income from house property. Before filling the details, income from house property, you need to determine whether you are staying in your own house or you have let it out. And remember that if you are during the year you have stayed in your own house, which was partly self-occupied and partly let out, say you stayed in your house for 8 months and during the year you were transferred to another location, then you let out your house, then you are required to pay tax on the full year rent. And for the 4 months, the rent which you received, and for 8 months, had this house been let out, how much rent you would have earned from that source. So in that case, you have to include that 8-month notional rent as well. And on the other side, if you have rented out that house during the whole full year, and in that case, you have to provide the requisite details in the form. Now let's go to the form that how you have to fill that. So now see the first option. If we select if the house was self-occupied, in that case you need not to give any detail other than the details of the interest on the borrowed capital. So once you are done, it is done. Now on the other hand side, if you have let out this house, then you have to give these additional details, like what is the rent which you received and what are the taxes which were paid on this house property. And then thereafter the other item you will see, it will calculate the annual rental value, and 30% of the annual rental value is allowed as a deduction for repair, etc. This also get automatically filled up. And then you mention the interest which is payable on the borrowed capital, mention the actual amount. And remember that if this interest is more than 2 lakh rupees, then it will get carried forward to the next year, which you will be able to claim in the next year. Now after filling this detail from the income from house property, then you move to the next section, which is the income from other sources. Now if you have income from any source such as bank interest, saving bank interest, or income from the post office saving bank account, or if you are having any term deposit, or if you are having any NSC or a Kisan Patra, so then you need to determine the interest and you have to include it under the head income from other sources. So once you fulfill these details in that, then you will see that your total income is calculated as gross total income. So once this has been done, then you have to fill the next section, the deductions which are available to you. The first line is ATC. If you have made any payment for the life insurance premium or deposited any money in the public provident fund, etc., you need to mention that amount in the first line of the item. Say we have taken 1 lakh rupees, and if you have made any contribution to the national pension scheme, you can fill all this field in the 4th row. And similarly we keep moving on, and say if we have paid medical health insurance premium, then we also need to select whether we are paying it for self, for a family, or for a senior citizen, and accordingly your deduction limit is calculated. And similarly we keep on moving. If you have given any donation under section 80G, you will not be able to fill that amount here, but we will have to fill schedule 80G, and a separate tab is provided there. And here we have to give all details such as the name of donee, address, city, their state, pin code, and the PAN of the donee as well. And then we have also to mention the amount. And if you will look at this 80G schedule, it is categorized, and there are some donations such as where the donation is given to the Prime Minister Relief Fund, that is eligible for deduction 100% of the amount. But if the donations are given to any other authority, or there are other qualifying where only 50% of the amount is allowed, then you can fill that amount in the B section. So these will automatically come on the income detail schedule which we were already filling in. So once we have mentioned the other details, then we come to 80 TTA deduction, the interest which you have earned from the saving bank account. You've just mentioned the amount, and whatever amount you mention, remember that this amount gets restricted to 10,000 rupees, and accordingly the form has restricted that deduction to 10,000 rupees. So once you have done that, the total deductions get filled up, and now we move to the next schedule, computation of tax payable. And since you are filling this online, and this computation of tax payable schedule is showing the numbers, this is the auto calculation done online by the system. So you will see that all the tax payable, etc., everything has got calculated over here. And now we are saving it as save as draft, and then we will move to the next schedule. The tax which has been deducted at source, these details have automatically picked up from 26 AS. These have been pre-filled. And if you have made any payment of taxes in the form of a self-assessment tax, then those details will also get actually filled up automatically from 26 AS. Details of taxes paid and a verification. Now in this sheet you will see all details of your taxes paid, including the self-assessment tax paid has come. And after filling in all details, you will also see if you have paid any taxes excess, then the refund will appear. But if there are any tax liability which has to be paid, then it will come as an amount payable, and then there is a button which come e-pay tax, and automatically this pressing this tab, it will automatically take you to the website that how to make the payment of taxes online. And here you will see this challan will appear, which you have to fill in the requisite details, and after this you can make the payment of the self-assessment tax, whatever the tax was payable on there. So now when you come to the exempt income for reporting purposes, be very careful that you have to disclose all your income. Now we move to the filling the exempt income detail. The first one is the long-term capital gain. Under section 1038 you have to fill that amount, and if you are having any exempt dividend, that can be given there, and also the agriculture income is exempt, but the amount is considered to determine your taxable income. And now others, you will see if we select the nature of the income which is exempt under the others, we have to mention the amount, and once you mention the amount, it will it will keep appearing again and again unless you have filled all those various items which were there. Then next we move to the bank account details in which our refund is there. If you are having your one bank account, then you can give that details, but if you are having more than one bank account, then you need to give the bank account in which you would like to receive your income tax refund. So once you have given that details, and remember to include all your bank account, including the fixed deposit account or a recurring deposit account, all these details needed to be mentioned in other bank account details. So once you have done that, then you go to the verification section, and in verification your name and father's name etc. will appear, and then you will have to mention in which capacity you are filing. You will write you are filing return as an individual, mention the place, mention the date. Once done, save as a draft, and once you have saved it as a draft, then you go to the preview and submit section. If there are certain fields which you missed to fill or which have not been properly filled, it will pop up and you have to provide those details, and once those details are given, your returns is ready to be submitted. Then you press the submit button, your returns get submitted, and then you can e-verify the return. It will ask for that option. And now, since before we begin filling this form, we selected the Aadhaar as an option, so we will accordingly select as a Aadhaar to e-verify the return. Once we do that, we will receive a OTP on our phone, and once we receive that OTP, we provide this OTP in the website, and then accordingly submit. Then our e-verification process is complete, and that way we have completed filing of our return in form ITR-1.